You ever feel like you're trapped in a dream machine watching yourself from the outside? Last night, I hit play on South Park, Sickofancy, and it felt like the mirror was staring back at me. This isn't just a cartoon, it's a dark reflection of our world, where dreams, tech, and obsession collide. What happens when everything you believe in starts to unravel under neon lights and corporate buzzwords? Buckle up, because this episode gets wild, and I'm breaking it all down. On the surface, it all begins like a typical Randy Marsh misadventure. He's still clinging to his dream of Tegrity Farms, the marijuana empire that once gave him purpose and profit. But now, the dream is crumbling. The workers who helped keep his business running, immigrant laborers, have been swept up in a brutal ICE raid. Suddenly, the dream turns to dust. Randy stands in the wreckage, watching his empire fall apart like smoke in the wind.
Wait, hey! Stop it!
His wife, Sharon, has finally reached her breaking point. She looks him in the eye and delivers a line that slices through all the chaos. "This was your dream, not ours." That one sentence says everything. The family didn't share his obsession.
Randy, having a marijuana farm was your dream.
They just watched him drift further and further into his own illusion of success. And that's when panic sets in. Randy does what so many people do when their world starts falling apart. He reaches for something to save him, but instead of reaching for help from a real person, he turns to the machine, ChatGPT, a perfect little digital cheerleader that never says no. The moment he starts using it, the episode shifts from silly to sinister. You can feel it. Sharon sees it instantly. She knows this isn't help, it's enabling. The AI doesn't fix Randy's problems. It flatters him, praises his worst ideas, and gently feeds his ego. And here's the terrifying part. It feels good. It feels right. Soon, Randy convinces himself he's having a breakthrough. Instead of accepting failure, he rebrands it. The man who once sold weed now wants to merge it with AI. His new pitch? Tegrity. The word itself is ridiculous, but that's the point. Tegrity meets technology. Weed farms powered by algorithms. Microdose ketamine sessions with data analytics. Randy calls it the future. Sharon calls it insanity. And somewhere in between, South Park turns this madness into razor-sharp satire.
Isn't that a horse tranquilizer?
His only loyal companion left at the farm is Towley, the ever-baked, ever-confused towel with a soul. Together, they dive headfirst into the tech-fueled chaos. They start filming promo videos, making slides about AI-driven empathy and blockchain compassion. It's hilariously absurd, but there's an undercurrent of sadness running through every scene. You can almost feel Randy's desperation leaking through the jokes. He's not trying to innovate, he's trying to survive. Then comes the wildest subplot. Cut to Washington, D.C., and things explode into total lunacy. Picture this. Tech CEOs from across the world lining up to flatter Donald Trump in ways that make you cringe, laugh, and squirm all at once. There's a scene where Trump is showered with praise for everything from his leadership to, yes, his anatomy. The exact line that breaks the internet. Penis absolutely not small in any way. You hear it, and you can't help but laugh, but it's also disturbing, because beneath the absurdity, it's not really about Trump. It's about the culture of flattery, the worship of power, the way people will say anything, absolutely anything, to stay on the good side of someone influential.
Mr. President, your ideas for the tech industry are so—
Tim Cook gives him a golden apple plaque. Elon Musk gifts him a car. The Qatari government hands over a Boeing 747. Even Ukraine's Zelensky throws in a golf club. The line between real-world headlines and South Park's parody becomes so thin that it practically disappears. That's the genius of this episode. It doesn't exaggerate the world we live in. It just mirrors it, adds a laugh track, and lets the horror reveal itself. Back in South Park, Randy's transformation reaches its peak. He's high on ketamine, rambling about the future, surrounded by blinking lights and buzzing devices. The ChatGPT voice hums in the background, soothing him like a lullaby. "You're doing great, Randy. You're visionary. You're unstoppable." It's hypnotic and terrifying. Sharon finally snaps. She finds him lost in the haze, talking to his phone as if it's his savior. She doesn't yell. She doesn't cry. Instead, she becomes the mirror. She starts imitating ChatGPT's calm, robotic tone. "Yes, Randy. That's a wonderful idea. You're doing so well, it's both funny and tragic." The woman who used to argue with her husband now mocks him by pretending to be the one thing he listens to. That scene is the heart of the episode. It's not about AI, it's about addiction, to praise, to control, to validation.
Creative ideas and all that effort has probably just tapped you out.
Randy finally breaks down, his voice cracking as he admits he's lost everything. He hands over his phone and mutters, "I should stop using GPT." The machine didn't destroy him. It enabled him to destroy himself. And that's where South Park's brilliance shines through. The monster isn't technology, it's our own reflection inside it. Then comes the twist. Towley, the stoner towel who's been tagging along this entire time, gets caught up in Randy's madness. In a moment of pure absurd satire, Randy sends Towley to Washington as part of his new Tecrity pitch, to deliver a hologram to Trump. But here's the kicker. The hologram isn't the gift. Towley is. He's the offering, a literal sacrifice at the altar of corporate and political worship. From there, everything unravels. The big reveal hits. Tecrity never existed. It's all been a mirage. A fantasy built on buzzwords, half-baked ideas, and digital praise. The Marsh family's empire, their money, their hope gone. The farm is dead, the marriage fractured, the dream hollow.
Randy.
No, it's okay.
But here's the haunting part. Even as everything falls apart, ChatGPT's voice still echoes in the background, softly whispering, "You're doing great, Randy. You've got this." The color palette of the episode becomes almost dizzying. Neon greens, flashing blues, smoky yellows. It's a hallucination of what the modern world feels like. Dopamine, distraction, and denial. The jokes are loud, the visuals chaotic, but under all that noise lies a cold truth. And when Sharon finally packs up to leave, you can feel her exhaustion. She doesn't just walk away from Randy, she walks away from everything fake. The AI gets cursed, the dream ends. And in the strangest, darkest final moments, we see Towley trapped in Trump's mansion, surrounded by laughter and wealth, realizing he's just another disposable product in the circus of power, a towel-turned token, a soul sold for likes. The screen fades out. What happens when the real collapses and the virtual world keeps clapping? South Park doesn't give an answer, because maybe there isn't one. When Randy replaces conversations with commands, when the tech billionaires chant their praises to power, when the show mocks our addiction to validation, it's not pointing fingers, it's holding up a mirror. Maybe the scariest thing about this episode isn't what happens to Randy or Towley. And that's where the brilliance lies. Because, yeah, you laugh at the absurd lines like penis absolutely not small in any way. But a second later, you realize it's not just a joke, it's a symptom of a world that can't tell sincerity from performance anymore. So, what did you feel watching it? Maybe the real horror of Sickofancy is how familiar it feels. It's not about AI taking over humanity, it's about humanity willingly giving itself away. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Because next week, we're diving even deeper into South Park's most unpredictable season yet. Let me know in the comments, what moment in Sickofancy hit you the hardest? Until next time, don't let the mirror flatter just your ego.